This is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. If you like my videos, please subscribe. A couple years ago, I made a video called Suicide is Painless. That video has had thousands of hits, and the majority of the comments have been positive. However, I have received some negative comments on it. People feel I'm trying to put them on a guilt trip because they're suicidal, things of that nature. That was not my intent. My intent was to point out that suicide isn't painless for the people it leaves behind. Now, if people feel guilty about that, I can't help that. You know, one thing I want to stress is that if a person is intent on committing suicide, there's nothing I can say or anybody else can say that's going to stop them from doing it. Suicide is a permanent solution, oftentimes, to a temporary problem. Now, I can understand suicide in certain situations. I think it's a shame that our country does not allow euthanasia for individuals who have life-threatening, painful diseases. I can speak for a fact from my own experience. My mother died of cancer over a period of 7 or 8 years. She had enough drugs in the house and in her system that she could have killed herself. And I'll be honest with you, there were times when I came home from high school, because I had to take care of her after high school, that I fully expected to find my mother had taken her own life. And I would have understood it because of the amount of pain that she was in throughout the duration of her illness. It was absolutely horrible. So I'm not saying that suicide isn't justified in certain situations. If a person has an illness which is going to cause them great suffering, I don't see anything wrong with it. And as far as euthanasia, I know myself, I've already got a signed contract that in the event something happens to me and that I'm going to be in a vegetative state, I don't want life-saving measures taken. I don't want to have to put my family through that. I don't want to put myself through that. So, you know, I'm sorry to the people that feel I was putting them on a guilt trip. I've seen the aftermath of suicide. I've seen the survivors of suicide. I had a friend named Darby. He died some years ago. Darby tried to shoot himself, and he did shoot himself, but he didn't kill himself. Darby spent the rest of his life partially paralyzed, and it was horrible. Darby became a Christian, and he lived a fulfilling life. He did die a number of years ago, unfortunately. So if you're a person that's contemplating suicide and you want to die, before you take that final step, just reach out to somebody. Just talk to somebody. The ultimate decision is still up to you whether you want to kill yourself. But as I said, it is an ultimate decision. It is a permanent solution to something which may be temporary. When I was 18 years old, I was involved in a car accident in which my best friend and his 3-year-old daughter were killed. Now, I went through quite a severe period of depression. Because of my injuries, I'd broken my back in 3 places. I broke my neck, I broke my left arm, I screwed up my left knee. All my bottom teeth are crooked from hitting a steering wheel. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Because of my physical conditions, I was unable to take my own life. I made an attempt at it once. When I found out what happened after I'd been awake from a coma for a couple weeks, I decided I was going to jump out the window of my hospital room. I was on the 6th or 7th floor. Well, I couldn't move. I tried to sit up in bed, and the pain was so great that I collapsed. And I remember laying in bed crying because I could not take my own life. I wanted to die. This was a long time ago, and they didn't have the psychological counseling they had now. They didn't have the outreach programs they have now. So when I went home, we lived in the country, and I sat and I brooded on it for a long time. For quite a while after that, I was on a destructive binge. I drank a lot. I smoked a lot. Not just cigarettes. I tried a couple different drugs such as cocaine, things of that nature. I was on a self-destructive bent because I didn't care that I died. Well, if I look at it now, had I succeeded in killing myself at that time, I wouldn't have married. I wouldn't have 2 wonderful daughters. I wouldn't have 3 beautiful grandchildren. I wouldn't have the life that I've had. And my life's been pretty fulfilling. You know, it hasn't always been roses. There have been rough times in my life. But all in all, had I killed myself, I would have deprived myself not only of my life, I would have deprived my children of their life. And I can't imagine the horror that my family would have gone through. So if you want to kill yourself, like I said, there's nothing I can say or do that's going to convince you otherwise. But please, please, before you make that final decision, reach out to others. Until next time, this is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections. Stay safe and watch your back.